You boil your eggs like everyone else, straight into hot water. And every time you cross your fingers, no cracks, no stuck shells, no chalky yolks. But in five-star hotel kitchens, chefs never do it that way. They know the secret to perfect eggs lies in not boiling them at all, but using a method that turns ordinary eggs into flawless perfection. It's not complicated, no fancy gadgets, just a simple steaming process combined with a few kitchen staples that results in smooth peels, rich yolks, and eggs that practically peel themselves. The real question isn't, can I boil an egg? It's, why settle for frustration when a hotel-level result is just one step away? And way easier than you think? Stick with me, because step number 5 is the exact trick hotel chefs use that makes the shell slide off with just one touch. The 5-star hotel egg boiling method.
So you got dirty eggs, you need to clean them. Do you know there's a right way and a wrong way?
Believe it or not, you're going to want to use warm or room temperature water.
So why do you use warm water, you ask? Because of all the pores in an egg, any cold water will shrink the contents and bring the bacteria to the inside of the egg. The more bacteria inside an egg, the more likely it is to get you sick. I always thought this was interesting because this is the one exception where you want to use warm water instead of cold water to wash your produce.
If you want perfectly boiled eggs, then you need to take care of the basics before anything. Surprisingly, the first thing every egg boiler needs to realize is that buying eggs from the grocery store and jumping straight to boiling them is not the way. Why not, you ask? Number 1. Clean eggs with salt and baking soda solution. Well, because you are essentially bringing a bunch of germs and bacteria from the store into your house this way, you can never tell if the eggs have been properly washed. And so, to make sure your boiled eggs are safe to consume, you have to run them down with a salt and baking soda solution. Add a teaspoon of baking soda and a teaspoon of salt to the water. Mix the two well so that they fully combine. Next up, put all your eggs in the solution and let them soak for 5 minutes. Once done, wipe them clean with a paper towel. This step removes bacteria, surface grime, and the natural film that can create a sulfur smell during cooking. Now that your eggs are sanitized and smell-free, let's prevent cracking before cooking even starts. What you do before steaming affects how easy they'll peel later. Here's how to prep them like hotel kitchens do. Number 2. Adjust egg temperature before cooking. If your eggs have been sitting in the fridge for too long, you need to bring them up to room temperature. So, before you throw them into the bowl to boil, let them sit in a bowl with room temperature water for at least 10-15 minutes. It may not seem like it, but something as little as the temperature of the egg can have a huge impact on how it boils. According to Atlanta chef Jennifer Hill Booker and Jason Smith, a chef in Grayson, Kentucky, and a Food Network baking show judge, chemistry is a true science. When you put ice-cold raw eggs into a pot of boiling water, you'll create a violent reaction inside that poor little eggshell. Booker also revealed that this violent reaction can lead to multiple issues. The first one you'll run into is the cracks in your egg due to the shock from the extreme temperature change. Another drawback of directly putting your eggs from the fridge into the boiling water is that the egg whites may attach themselves to the inside of the shell, making it way more difficult to peel. And that's hardly where it ends. When you peel away the shell, the egg may appear to be rubbery and tough. But lucky for you guys, bringing the eggs to room temperature doesn't require extra time. All you gotta do is take them out of the fridge. At the same time, you start boiling your water. According to Smith, once the water starts boiling, the eggs will have come to the right temperature to put in the water. They can easily rest on the kitchen counter for up to 2 hours. However, make sure you don't forget about them, since condensation can lead to the growth of bacteria and shorten the shelf life of the eggs. Just take out the ones you want to cook and place the rest back into the fridge till next time. And just like that, your eggs are now primed to cook evenly and gently. But for truly consistent texture, we need to control the water's environment. That starts with a simple ingredient you already have: salt. Number 3. Add salt to the steaming water. Before you toss your eggs into the water, add 1-2 teaspoons of salt to the water beneath your steamer basket. And if you're wondering why, well, it's because salt slightly raises the boiling point and improves the consistency while reducing microcracking. Also, if you don't skip this step, you'll be thanking yourself when it's time to peel. See, adding salt to your water helps the eggshells just slide right off. However, if you really want those perfectly boiled eggs, it's time for the biggest change. Instead of boiling, we're going to steam the eggs. just like fine dining kitchens do. Here's why this changes everything. Quick check-in before we continue. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments. Let's see how many of us are leveling up our egg game from around the world. Number 4. Use a steamer instead of boiling.
Did you know that you can steam eggs instead of boil them to give you really easy to peel shells? Let me show you how. You're going to need to grab one of these. Fill the pot with 1 inch of water. Place the steamer basket inside the pot, cover it with the lid, then turn it to a boil. Using this method, it's easy to add as many eggs as you want and it won't lower the temperature like boiling. Cover and steam for 13 minutes. The steam heat gets to 212 degrees, just like boiling water, but instead of being submerged in the hot liquid, this process is much more gentle. You have less chance of cracking on the outside of the shell, but it's also very effective. See? No cracked shells. These are ready. Immediately transfer the eggs to an ice water bath, stopping the cooking process and making it much easier to peel.
First off, steaming is a walk in the park. No hovering over the stove, no watching the pot to make sure the water doesn't boil over. Once your eggs are in the steamer, you just set the timer and go about the rest of your day. Oh, and did you know that steaming is a much gentler process for the eggs? And that's good news because no violent bouncing around means no cracks. Also, there's a low risk of you ending up with overcooked eggs. The question is, how do you steam eggs? Well, like we said, easy peasy. Place eggs in a single layer in a steamer basket above the salted water and cover tightly. Steaming alone prevents cracking, but if you want shells to fall off with barely a touch, there's one more ingredient you need to place inside the steamer. And no, it doesn't go on the eggs. Number 5. Add vinegar and salt in a small bowl inside the steamer. It's actually vinegar.
We're going to do something very challenging. I'm going to teach you how to boil an egg. We have a pan of boiling water. I'm going to add a tiny pinch of salt. Inside this egg is a tiny, tiny amount of salt. So one of the theories about not having your boiled egg crack and then leak everywhere is to put a tiny bit of salt to kind of balance the amount in here, and then it doesn't try and osmose it through the shell. With a slotted spoon, pop it in the water and just dip the egg in and out 2 or 3 times and then gently place it on the bottom of the pan. I'm going to put 3 eggs in and 1 for luck. That's for soft-boiled, semi-soft boiled and hard-boiled. So the first egg is done. This is our 5.5 minute egg. A really nice soft-boiled egg, cooked to perfection. The second egg has had 7.5 minutes. This will give you a medium soft-boiled egg. So this one has had 11 minutes, and that should be a reliable hard-boiled egg. Perfect for sandwiches, salads, stuff like that. Absolutely beautiful.
All you need for the perfect peel is 2 TBSP of vinegar mixed with 1 TBSP of salt. Mix the two in a heat-proof bowl and place it inside the steamer with the eggs. And voila, you'll end up with a soft shell that glides right off. See, the vinegar breaks down the calcium in the eggshell, causing it to detach itself from the membrane inside. Unfortunately, vinegar is not the secret to everything. For that perfect yolk every time, not undercooked or overdone, you'll need precise timing based on your preferred doneness. Number 6. Steam for desired doneness.
Never boil your eggs the wrong way ever again. If you want your eggs runny, boil them for 2 minutes. However, if you boil them for 4 minutes, you get a perfectly soft-boiled egg. 6-minute eggs are my personal favorite. They're perfectly balanced and the texture is just right. Save this video for later and tell me how long you cook your eggs.
See, when it comes to steaming eggs, the timing makes all the difference. In case you are going for a soft-boiled egg, you just have to let it steam for 6-7 minutes. That should give you a runny yolk. If you want an egg that's still jammy inside and not totally hard, then you may have it in there for just 9 minutes. And if you want a hard-boiled egg, then 12 minutes on the timer is recommended. Another pro tip: make sure you start your timer as soon as you seal the lid. Remember, every minute counts when you're cooking eggs. Once that timer goes off, take the eggs out, and boom, your eggs are steamed to perfection. But don't get too excited. Those eggs are still cooking on the inside, unless you stop them instantly. Here's how to lock in the perfect texture. Number 7. Immediate ice bath.
Here's an excellent trick regarding your eggs. Don't wait for your hard-boiled eggs to cool completely after boiling them. Put them in a plastic bag, then put it in the refrigerator when they're still warm. The moisture from the bag makes them so much easier to peel.
Right after steaming, drop your eggs into a bowl of ice water and let them chill for about 10 minutes. Don't think about it. Just do it. No ice? Cold water works too. See, the goal here is to cool the eggs down fast. And it's not just about locking in that texture. Cold eggs are easier to peel. The inside is now perfect. Time for the outside, the undressing. And surprise, surprise, this next technique lets the shell slide off in seconds with no pockmarked whites. You won't go back once you try this. Number 8, tap and roll peeling technique. The last step of munching on perfectly boiled eggs is the peeling. The most effective and common method you'll see is tapping the eggs gently on your kitchen counter. Once you are able to make a crack in the shell from both sides horizontally, you roll them on your palm. The rolling creates microfractures around the eggs and helps loosen the shell. Of course, not everyone is a pro. This tap and rolling technique might be a bit much for some of you first-timers watching. But don't worry, there's a fix for everything. If your eggs still stick to your shell, then you might want to use older eggs. And if you've got no old eggs in your pantry, just go easy on the vinegar when using fresh eggs. If your yolk gets overcooked, try reducing the steam time by 30-60 seconds. This might help since every steamer heats slightly differently. And in case you watched this entire video and are thinking that you have no steamer basket, then don't worry because we have you covered. You can choose between a rice cooker, a metal colander, a bamboo steamer, or an Instant Pot in steam mode. Now you've got all the tools to make perfectly steamed eggs your way, every single time. Results comparison. If you stick to the age-old boiling in water trick, well, good luck because the peel time alone is 30 to 60 seconds. Shell cracks? Frequent. Texture? Rubbery. And don't get us started on the smell. But once you've boiled your eggs using this 5-star steam method a couple of times, you'll notice the benefits right away. The peel time is just 5-10 seconds. Shell cracks? Rare. Texture? Creamy. Smell? Well, no more of that either. 3 easy dishes using perfect boiled eggs. Deviled eggs. Let's start with deviled eggs. All you gotta do is mix the yolk with some Greek yogurt, Dijon mustard, and olive oil. Finish it off with some smoked paprika and voila. You have a delicious healthy meal on the go. Mediterranean Power Bowl. Next up, you can try out a Mediterranean Power Bowl as well. Simply toss your eggs along with some quinoa, olives, cherry tomatoes, and spinach in a bowl. Sprinkle some tahini dressing and enjoy. Protein breakfast. Bento. In case you are looking for protein-filled meals, then this might be it for you. Slice your eggs along with an avocado and place them on toast. For an extra boost, you can also add a handful of almonds and blueberries. And that's pretty much it. No more cracked shells, no more stuck peels. This is the boiled egg upgrade you didn't know you needed. Soft-boiled or hard-boiled? Which one are you making first? Let me know below. And tag someone who always ends up peeling eggs for 10 minutes.